Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming or Battlefield-related questions, and then I will give my humble opinion on them. To get the formalities out of the way real quick, if you would like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. The first question for today comes from Mitchell, and it is, I've been watching your new Final Stand videos, and I've noticed that there are no new weapons. With the theme of modern tech and Battlefield 2142, what would you say if DICE added all the prototype weapons from Battlefield Bad Company 2? This would be a great opportunity for DICE to expand on the idea of modern tech and give the community a few new weapons in the process. I would love if DICE decided to do this. I'm assuming you're referring to the XM8 assault rifle. It was easily one of my favorite weapons back in Bad Company 2. The LMG version of it was also phenomenal. And while realistically, it's not really a futuristic prototype at this point, like it's kind of an old gun. The US military at one point was developing the XM8 prototypes because they wanted a substitute to the M16. They wanted something that could be really fast and maneuverable and had a really quick reload time, but it just didn't live up to the standards of the military. And I think some militaries around the world might use the XM8. It kind of fell by the wayside and it's no longer in development, or it never became anything other than a prototype. But for a video game, I love these things. I love the way it sounded back in Bad Company 2. It had a great iconic look. I love the way it handled. And so if DICE wanted to indulge us with Battlefield 4 and the Final Stand DLC by bringing us some prototype weapons or have a nice futuristic flair, really get their creative juices going and create some iconic weapons with that final DLC, I would love it. And I think pretty much from everyone in the Battlefield community would just eat that stuff up. Sadly, though, I don't think this is actually going to be something that DICE does. I don't think it's been 100% confirmed at this point that there isn't going to be any new weapons with the final expansion pack, and maybe it'll be a huge surprise. Maybe they're waiting for a big reveal, there'll be a lot of confetti and balloons, and we'll be all really excited and thrilled that we're going to be having all these great new prototype weapons in Battlefield 4. But the fact that we've already started to test out the maps on the CTE version, and there wasn't even a hint of any new guns on the CTE maps, and there wasn't any new unlocks there. And also the guys, a lot of YouTubers, went to go test out a lot of these new maps even before we had a chance to see them, and they were even saying that there weren't any new weapons there as well. And so this leads me to believe that we're probably not going to get any new ones. And what I think it really comes down to, and this is probably DICE's viewpoint on the matter, is that there's already over 100 weapons in Battlefield 4. Over 100! That's an absurd amount of weaponry that we have access to in this game, and trying to add in new guns that are different and unique from all the other ones in the game, but also well balanced from all of the others, is an absurdly challenging task to undertake. A lot of people are already complaining that some of the DLC guns are better than the vanilla maps, and it's already pay to win. And so if DICE wanted to add in some futuristic weapons or some futuristic prototype guns, they would probably have to add in a brand new mechanic to make things interesting, and not just a copy and paste of all the other weapons in the game. And once again, they run into the problem. It's like, how are we going to differentiate these guns from all of the other ones with also making them well balanced and not overpowered? And while I still want to have these new guns in the game because maybe I'm just a spoiled brat and I want all the shiny new toys, I do understand where DICE could be coming from, or why they would be hesitant to add new ones on in. And so while I think your idea is fantastic, having prototype weapons would fit perfectly with the theme of Battlefield 2142, it's not looking like we are gonna have the chance to play with new weapons in the final DLC. The next question for today is, what do you think of Rainbow Six Siege? This is a shooter that I cannot wait to get my hands on. Like, I'm giddy even just thinking about it, because one of the things that I'm loving about the previews that they've done so far is the level of destruction. It's not on a huge battlefield, it's not on this massive scale like the Battlefield franchise, but the level of destruction is just insane. You'll notice if you ever watch one of their preview videos, they have like a 37-minute gameplay up. I highly recommend you go check it out. There are all these moments where you are constantly shooting through walls and trying to make holes through the walls so that you can shoot at the enemy. Not only that, though, you have like these breaching charges where you can put it on a wall to blow it up, much like you would see in Battlefield, but you also have the option to put it on a floor and take out everyone out below below it. Like, it's like the first time I saw it, I was like, this is incredible. They placed it down on the ground. It made this big hole. They threw in grenades. They started to shoot everyone down in the garage section of the map and killed everyone. It was amazing when it happened. The other thing that I'm really excited about is that it is incredibly team-oriented and tactical. At the start of the round, it gives you a moment to basically talk with your team on how you're going to either defend or attack the objective. So if you're playing as the SWAT team, you have to work your way on how you're going to approach the building, how you're going to breach on in. And if you're playing on the defensive side, you have to work on what barriers you're going to put up and what part of the house that you're going to defend, or how you're going to move around and make sure that they're not able to capture the hostage. This game has just a stupid amount of potential. Like I said, I cannot wait to get my hands on it. But the one thing I am worried about is, will it be able to hold on to its player base, and will people just go on over to other video games when they realize that it's not that high-octane action that they expect in most first-person shooters like Call of Duty or Battlefield? Like I mentioned, at the start of the round, at least from what they've said so far, you have to talk with your team, you have to map out your battle plan and how you're going to get into the building and take everyone out. If you just storm in like an idiot and you're not working with your teammates, you're probably going to die fairly quickly. You're going to be at a disadvantage. And so if people go into this assuming that they're going to be able to play it like any other first-person shooter out there, where they're going to be able to spawn constantly and always be in the action, they might be in for a rude awakening that might turn them off from the game, and it may not gain the popularity that it needs for it to be a successful franchise or a successful multiplayer game. Only time will tell. Maybe they have some game modes that will cater to those players, but even for me, I don't necessarily want that when I pick up Rainbow Six Siege, because just from what I've seen so far, having that tactical gameplay, being able to squad up with a bunch of my buddies and go in there and compete with other people sounds incredible. Like, if they do this right, I could actually see this being just an amazing esports game, a highly competitive game that just blows people away. I cannot wait. I'm crossing my fingers that they don't stumble and they're able to produce an amazing product. The next question for today is, what do you think about the ability to set buildings on fire in Battlefield 4? I think it would be a cool ability to set fire with an incendiary grenade. On propaganda, for example, you could throw it into a building and make people run out and not camp. This is a really cool concept. I think that DICE would probably have to tweak their engine a little bit, because I'll be completely honest, their fire effects, while they look impressive, they're really cool, they don't really do a good job of representing exactly where the damage is going to be. Like, there are a lot of moments, especially if I'm playing on Caspian Border, there's one section in the underbelly on D where if you stand in a corner, you all of a sudden start to take fire damage. There doesn't appear to be any fire around it, you just start taking damage out of nowhere and you slowly die. Conceptually, though, this is a really interesting idea. Like, if you know that there are a lot of people inside of a building, but you know that they're just hunkered down in a position where you know that you're never going to be able to get inside yourself to take every single one of them out, if some of these buildings have the option to be flammable and you could take them out or flush them out because of fire damage, that is a cool take on destruction. Like, that is a really cool take on Levolution. Of course, DICE would have to really think conceptually on how they would implement that into a game like Battlefield. Would the building fall over after it was burnt down? Would it make it so that it was just a black husk, so that it was the same building, same structure, but it couldn't be burnt anymore? You know, it's only a one-time deal, but it's still standing. They would have to think about how they would want to approach that and how that would affect the gameplay. But I'm there with you. Like, as long as it was implemented correctly and they put a lot of thought into it and it was well done, I think that could be a nice, interesting take on destruction and Levolution. The next question for today comes from Joe, and it is, what do you think about the idea of having clans or guilds in Destiny? Something that would make it a little bit easier to join with like-minded players or have a core of friends that would be easy to access. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that there already are clans in Destiny. There aren't any guilds, but they're basically the same thing. But I think the biggest thing holding them back right now is the social features. Like, if you get into a clan, I don't think it actually does anything for you, other than maybe you can complete one of the trophies where you have to complete a raid with your clan. Other than that, though, there's no way for you to communicate quickly between them. I don't think that there's really any voice communication between your clanmates. And so I think Bungie just needs to flush out that system. Like, they need to make it so that it's easy to communicate times and dates for different things, make it so that you can team up swiftly. Like, it just needs to have a better social interaction. I would actually say that that's one of the biggest complaints that a lot of people have had about Destiny, is that they keep toting it that it's this multiplayer world, it's thriving, there's a lot of people involved in it, but there's no way for you to really communicate with everyone. Like, it's a very unsocial experience for what they describe to be a very social game. So I 100% agree with you. I think that that would be great if they had a better way of allowing you to join clans and join these guilds with like-minded people to go on raids to PvP, have that competitive spirit. I think that would be fantastic. And hopefully Bungie is aware of these issues and will eventually solve many of them. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. Once again, if you would like to submit your own question that can be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below or by sending me a Facebook and Twitter message. But until tomorrow, guys, have a good one and take it easy.